strawberry seed in my teeth? Can you guys see that from that far away? Hopefully not. Hey, it's Kendra and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about 7 tips for introverts going back to school, especially with college, since I know a lot of you guys are in college or going into college. But yeah, I think this is really daunting for introverts going into college, especially because you're probably going to be meeting a lot of new people. You're not going to have your friends there that you've kind of grown up with or went to high school with. Maybe you will, but you're still going to be meeting a lot more people. Classes are really big and it's just kind of overwhelming. I myself am an introvert. I know a lot of people think I'm an outrovert, like at work. I don't know. I think I'm more of like an outroverted introvert, but I definitely am an introvert. I like my quiet time, things like that. I really need to go back and reset at home and quiet. But yeah, so since I have dealt with this, obviously being an introvert in college, I wanted to give you guys some tips because I know I was really nervous about this going into college, and it was something that seemed really scary to me, that I would have to be like super outgoing to make friends and everything, but you really don't. You just have to be yourself. But before we get into this video, make sure you are subscribed to my channel down below for more videos like these and just to stay up to date with my videos, especially this back to school series. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. So my first tip is to join clubs to make college seem smaller. And I know this in itself is daunting, going to meetings, like club meetings and everything, but it really does help. I did this and found like a smaller community within college, and this really does help you to find some friends, hopefully with similar mindsets as you, because obviously you're in like the same club, so you have at least one interest. But yeah, so that's great because you know you're guaranteed to have at least one thing in common with these people. I'm sure during your freshman year, like your first week of school is going to be filled with clubs trying to get members to join, things like that. So make sure to go to those meetings. You'll probably meet some like-minded people and make some friends, and it'll make your community seem a lot smaller at your college, especially if it's a big college. My second tip is kind of obvious, but it's to talk to people near you in class or in your dorm, anything like that. Everybody's probably nervous, and if you're in a huge freshman like seminar with like 200 people, just talk to the people closest to you. If you have like a question or something, just like reach over or like lean over real quick and ask them. I'm sure you're gonna have like those little icebreakers, which nobody likes. I'm sorry, but I hate those so much. But yeah, just like lean over, ask them a question, talk to them, like compliment them on their like shoes or something. Just find something to talk about, something really small, and I'm sure you'll make a friend or two, or at least just have a buddy in the class so you can sit by them, and it's not kind of that like daunting, like going to the class for the first time and having no idea where to sit, nobody, like you don't know anyone there. This is just really easy, and it's really great to make those connections in your classes, so it's not so scary going to them. My third tip is kind of for like the first week of college, or really any other time, but take your roommate with you if you're nervous to go to events, or if you're nervous to go out and talk to people on your floor. Just take your roommate with you, especially if you guys are friends, or you know, you're trying to get to know them as well. This can be a great way to break the ice between you guys, and so you can meet more people as well. I did this my freshman year. My roommate and I went to a lot of the freshman events. We talked to people on our floor to get to know them more, and it was great having her there. We got to know each other more, and we got to make other friends. So, and it's just kind of great having a little buddy with you to go to talk to people, especially if you're more introverted. Maybe your roommate's more outroverted, and they can kind of do the initial like talking to people. Even if they're an introvert, you guys are gonna feel better having another person there with you. I really suggest doing this, especially if you want to go to some of the events for your first week of your freshman year, because there's probably going to be a ton. A lot of the times they have freshmen move in like a week earlier than everybody else, so you can go out and meet people, kind of get comfortable in the school, things like that. But I definitely suggest doing that. Or if you meet somebody on your floor that you become friends with, take them along with you. I also did this, and I made a great friend because we had each other to go to these events with, and we got to know each other, and we got to meet other people. So I really suggest just taking a buddy with you if you are nervous. And my fourth tip is to practice talking. You can do this in the mirror, you can do this in your head, but have some go-to things that you know you want to open a conversation with. And I know this kind of sounds a little bit silly, and you'll probably feel a little bit silly first practicing talking basically, but I do this a lot in my head because I am not good at talking. Like, to people, when I'm nervous, I'm just not good at talking. I get really nervous, I mess up my words a lot, I start to like stammer a little bit, and like I just can't think of words. My mind goes blank if I'm really nervous talking to a ton of new people. So I just kind of practice talking in my head. I know I like seem fine right here, but when I'm nervous and really like anxious and stuff, like I'm just not good at talking. So it's really great to kind of practice talking if you have to give a presentation in class, if you want to go talk to more people on your floor. Just practice what you're going to have to say, and keep in mind of things that you will say, just so it's not like on the spot, like, oh crap, what do I say? This is really great, and you can kind of fall back on, and you can kind of just go on autopilot to talk to people, and then I'm sure you're going to get more comfortable, and it'll get easier as you go on and start to introduce yourself to people. In college, it's kind of funny, like when you meet somebody, like, oh, what year are you, what's your major? Just have those things in your head because you're gonna get asked them a lot, but they are really great to open conversations with, and you do get better at this in college since there is a lot of opportunities to meet people really quickly, and you're gonna meet a ton of people in college, so it's really just great to practice talking to people because you're gonna be doing it a lot in the next 4 years. And number 5 is to realize your strengths. So maybe you're great at talking to new people, but you're horrible at giving presentations. Maybe you're great at giving presentations, but really not that great at talking to new people. Just try and realize what your strengths are so you can work on the things that you're not super comfortable with, and so you know that, hey, maybe I can go to this club meeting and talk to a lot of people and I'll feel great. And it's also just good to know what you're good at so you can kind of build those things up and so you get more comfortable with them over time. And my 6th tip is really related to this, but it's to recognize your weaknesses, or the things that you're not comfortable with. So going along with this, I mean, I don't mean that like if you're not good at something, like, oh, forget it, I'm not going to get better at it. No, that's definitely not the case. Just if you know you're going to be really uncomfortable in a situation, say, you know, going into a huge group for the first time and not knowing anybody, like if you know you're going to be really, really nervous, maybe don't put yourself in that situation quite yet, and kind of build up your comfortableness with that. It's, you know, if you, especially if you have like social anxiety or anything, don't put yourself into that situation quite yet. You will get more comfortable with it, or if you know that you do get uncomfortable with that, bring a friend along who you are comfortable with and who you know you can rely on when you start to get nervous, or if you know you're talking to new people, rely on your friend when you do go talk to new people. So just try and make yourself feel as good as possible in that situation, and just don't put yourself in a situation that you know you're going to be really stressed in, really nervous, or if you're going to get like a panic attack or something. Just remember and keep those things in mind, and then you can slowly work on them, you know, as you go through college, as you go through life, and you can start getting better at those things. But it is really important just to remember what you're not comfortable with, especially like your first couple weeks in college, and just keep those things in mind. Okay, and my 7th tip is to not be bullied into who you aren't. So if people are constantly saying like, oh my gosh, you're so quiet, like don't you have more to say, like why don't you speak up more, don't let those things get to you. Being an introvert isn't bad at all. There's just different kinds of people. Some people are more outroverted, some people are more introverted, some people are kind of in the middle, and it's not a bad thing at all. It's, you know, brings balance to everything, but just don't let people bully you into being somebody who you're not. Don't feel like you have to be this crazy outgoing person just to make friends in college, because you're gonna find people who are also introverted who you can connect with. Maybe you'll make some outroverted friends too, but it's really important not to change who you are and not to feel like you have to change who you are, especially for college. You do not have to change to kind of fit in, to make friends. Honestly, college is the best place to kind of be who you truly are. If you're kind of stuck in a rut in high school and you feel like you couldn't change because you knew so many people, maybe you've known them your whole life, college is a great place to break away from that, because you're going to meet people who have never met you before. They have no past opinion of you, and it's kind of great to be who you truly are. You know, maybe you wanted to change something about yourself, which of course it's totally natural to change. I'm not saying don't change, but like, you know, change in the way that you want to change, and don't let other people influence that. And don't ever feel bad about being an introvert or feel like embarrassed about it, because introverts obviously have their place in the world, and like introverts can do as much as outroverts, and vice versa. You know, we're all equal, we're all this like same, nobody's better than any other person. But I just wanted to have a quick, you know, little tip of like, it's fine to be an introvert in college. You don't have to be this super outgoing person to make friends or to be successful in college. You can definitely be an outrovert or an introvert. You can be an extrovert too, of course, but it's totally fine to be an introvert in college. It's not the end of the world, and you will make friends, you will be successful, and you will have a great time in college. You'll probably end up coming into yourself a little bit more, become more confident, which, you know, may enable you to be more of an outroverted introvert if that's what you want to do, but you probably will gain some confidence in college and not worry as much about being an introvert. But it is really hard your freshman year, and it's really easy to just feel like super embarrassed about being an introvert or like about not having a lot to say, but you will find friends who don't care about that and like you for who you are and will make you feel comfortable. So yeah, it's just not the end of the world if you are an introvert, but I know it can make college seem a lot more scary. And of course everybody's nervous for college, but I know I was especially nervous because I know that I'm a quiet person and I was kind of worried about going out and making those connections and everything. So yeah, that's just important to keep in mind. Alright, well there you have it. Those are my tips for introverts in college, especially if you're going into your freshman year. But remember, you can still apply these tips for any back to school time, high school, middle school, anything like that. These are great tips for any stage of life, really. I hope you guys like this video. In the comments, leave your tips for introverts in school, back to school, college, high school, anything like that. Just leave your tips down below. Or if you have any questions or if you want any advice for back to school, leave them there and I will make sure to answer them for you. But yeah, I hope you're having an awesome day. Good luck with back to school and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Excuse me.